So yesterday I was scrolling on Reddit and I saw a post on the AMD Reddit about how UserBenchmark was actually ditching the AMD cards. I heard this before several times, but when I actually read a bit of the comments of the review on that same card, which was the RX 6750, I think the 6750 XT, I thought like, no, this can't be truth. This can't be true. I mean, it's impossible. But then I went into UserBenchmark and it's even worse. I just read some AMD cards, I read some AMD CPUs, I read some Nvidia GPUs, and it's, oh my goodness, it's cringe and annoying and disgusting at the same time. But well, nothing better than actually showing you this. So let's start with just let's go for the 6750, the one that I actually saw, okay? The RX 6750 XT, okay? So let's see the average bench. Whilst the drought in the GPU market continues, street prices for AMD cards are around 50% lower than comparable based on headline average FPS figures of Nvidia cards. So it starts well, okay? So it's better. Now, the following. Many experienced users simply have no interest in buying AMD cards. Hold the hell up. So it starts well, with the truth, of course. Then it goes like, bam, sinking like... I mean, many experienced users simply have no interest in buying AMD cards. So you may say that some users had problems and they went for Nvidia cards, but the same applies to Nvidia users that went for AMD cards. But I mean, I know that more AMD users have problems than Nvidia users, okay? I know, it's a fact. But saying that many experienced users, I mean, it's a fact also that the people that have problems most of the times are not experienced users. Far from that. They are rookie users that have rookie problems that most of the times can be easily fixed. But let's move on. Regardless of price, so they don't want the AMD card regardless of price. So imagine if I have the 6800 XT that performs around the 3080, okay? If I have that card at the 3060 price, they won't still buy it because it's AMD. My god. Now it gets even better. So AMD's Neanderthal marketing tactics seem to have come back to haunt them. Their brazen domination of social media platforms including YouTube and Reddit resulted in millions of users purchasing substandard products. Oh my goodness, I can't stop laughing at this because this is so funny. So they first call the marketing tactics of AMD Neanderthal, okay? So it's like calling it monkey tactics, and then following that, so calling it a bullshit. Following that, they say that lots of people were biased into buying substandard products. Okay, so first it is a Neanderthal, but it works. So if it works, it is still a Neanderthal tactic. I mean, fucking English. I mean, it's common sense, so it's contradictory on the same... I can't even explain this shit. Be wary of sponsored reviews with cherry-picked games that showcase the wins and ignore the losses. Oh man, this is so cringe. I mean, there's literally thousands of reviewers online, thousands, with very, very respectable reviewers like Hardware Unboxed, Gamer Nexus, and many of them, I mean, I'm a respectable source, I think, and they are kind of implying that there are way more sponsors than, I mean, way more reviewers than actually are that are sponsored and actually on payroll to show some results. And I mean, cherry-picked games that showcase the wins and ignore the losses. What losses? What wins? You need to explain more. You need to deep dive on that if you want to make a statement such as this one. I mean, what the fuck? Experienced gamers know all too well that headline average FPS are worthless when they are accompanied with stutters. random crashes, excessive noise, and a limited feature set. Now this is the truth, and is actually the first correct thing that they are saying, which is basically average FPS are useless if you're having stutters, low 1% lows, low 0.1% lows, lots of random crashes and so on. But I mean, crashes and many other things are kind of a thing of the past of AMD, not on the current market situation, because RX 6000 series are actually pretty stable and they do not have these issues. I mean, come on. Maybe 1% of users have these issues, okay? And the other percentage are most likely people that don't have balanced systems, so they have CPU bottlenecks, RAM bottlenecks, they have software issues because they can't even install chipset drivers or update BIOS. They have PSU issues. I mean, I helped so many people in these scenarios that I actually know what I'm talking about. But anyway, let's go to another card, for example, the 6600 XT. Okay, 6600 XT. Nice. Effective speed, minus 10%. Anyway, so I tested this card against the 3060, so I actually know what I'm talking about, so you can check this video if you want to. And I know that in most scenarios it will be faster than the 3060, in others it will be slower, in terms of ray tracing way slower of course, but overall in terms of rasterization it is faster, okay, overall. Now let's start. The RX 6600 XT is the AMD's best value for money 6000 series GPU. It features 2048 shader units, a boost frequency of 2539 MHz, 8GB of GDDR6 memory, and a 160 watts TDP. It also has 32 ray accelerators, so ray tracing can be turned on for better lighting and reflections, but at a significant cost of 2 FPS. So everything is correct till now. Pretty nice. Nice user benchmark. It does not feature an equivalent to NVIDIA's hardware-based DLSS solution, which results in a higher frame rates and image quality supported. Okay, so it does not feature an equivalent to NVIDIA's hardware-based DLSS solution, which results in higher frame rates and image quality for supported games. Okay. It starts now. So, from the time they actually released this review, I suppose, we didn't have FSR, we now have FSR and FSR 2.0, but that's not actually the problem, it's more like this. So, based DLSS solution which results in higher frame rates and image quality for supported games. Okay, this is poorly written because I know they're talking about ray tracing before, but they are now talking about DLSS, and DLSS does not improve the image quality the same as FSR 2.0 does not. So it may improve in some very specific scenarios, but overall the native quality will always be superior, unless of course the temporal anti-aliasing implementation in the game is really poor, and then the DLSS or the FSR 2.0 will actually make a difference, like on Deathloop lining for example. But that's because the game's temporal anti-aliasing implementation or anti-aliasing, I think that's how it's pronounced, is really poor, okay? But anyway, so poorly written from the beginning. Entry models have a suggested price of $380 US, however the street prices are around $600, okay, this was before, completely. Nvidia's 3060 Ti only headlines around 30% faster than the 6600 XT, whilst the street prices for the 3060 Ti are around 100% higher. Okay, 30% faster, 100% higher, seems fine for the time. Many experienced users, once again, many experienced users simply have no interest in buying AMD cards, regardless of price. AMD's Neanderthal marketing tactics seem to have come back to haunt them. So it's like they copy-paste all of this shit. They don't review it, they just go there, copy-paste, give me money, and it's all done. Their brazen domination of social media platforms including YouTube and Reddit resulted in millions of users purchasing substandard products. Once again, the same crap. Experienced gamers know all too well that high average FPS are worthless when they are accompanied with stutters when the crash is 6950 XT, and let's see what they say now of it. So it's the same thing, so they literally copy-pasted this. Let's see the RTX cards. RTX 3060, okay? Let's go to the 3060 for example, because it is one of the cards that I tested from NVIDIA, okay? So, the RTX 3060 is NVIDIA's latest 3000 series GPU. Even if it ever comes into stock at $330 US, it will struggle to match the groundbreaking 3060 Ti in terms of performance of value for money. NVIDIA's new Ampere architecture, which supersedes Turing, offers both improved power efficiency and performance. The 3060 features 3,584 CUDA cores, 112 tensor cores, it has a boost clock to 1.78 GHz, 12 GB of memory, and a power draw of just 170 watts. The 3060 offers similar performance to the previous generation 2060 Super at an 18% MSRP discount, so it starts badly right here. So because the 3060 doesn't look close to the 2060 Super, it is more likely the 2070 Super, and a quick YouTube search would just lead you to that, so you would know that the 3060 is more pending to the 2070 Super than the 2060 Super, okay? So, man, you have a benchmark site accessed by millions of users, so just at least do your search, I mean. And now it starts once again on the AMD side, so everything has to be about AMD. It doesn't matter if it is on Intel CPUs, NVIDIA GPUs, AMD GPUs or AMD CPUs, they have to have that hating part on AMD, okay? So it starts now. Given the widespread issues AMD's users are facing with 5000 series GPUs, blue/black screens, etc., okay? It is true to a certain extent because the 5000 series were actually bad, okay? But we have bad in terms of these problems. They were later fixed, but at the beginning it was really, really bad, okay? Anyway, AMD's 6000 series GPUs will have to see substantial price cuts and a huge marketing effort in order to gain any traction. So this didn't age well. Supposedly the 6000 series should have a huge price drop just because the 5000 series were actually having problems. No, if the 6000 series perform well as they did, and they do, they are very stable, they perform well, people are buying those cards. They were kind of implying that those GPUs would not gain any traction if they weren't priced way lower than NVIDIA ones, which we know it's crap. Meanwhile, PC gamers can look forward for an unparalleled gaming experience in class-leading titles such as Cyberpunk 2077. Unparalleled! At ultra settings with ray tracing enabled, Cyberpunk 2077 redefines the boundaries of immersive gaming. It makes GTA 5 look like Tetris in comparison. I mean, GTA 5 is a game that was released in 2013, then it was re-released in 2015 for PC, and the engine is way older than that. What are you expecting? The combination of RTX and the LSS delivers stunning graphics that are several tiers higher than both AMD's best discrete GPUs and the upcoming consoles. Oh my goodness, how can someone kind of write this? The combination of RTX plus the LSS delivers stunning graphics, it's okay so far, that are several tiers higher, several, not just one, two, several tiers higher than both AMD's best discrete GPUs and the upcoming consoles. In this scenario, we actually already knew, I think, that the 6000 series would have ray tracing, okay? It was already known that they would have ray tracing. It was confirmed. So, saying that it is several tiers above in terms of image quality is bullshit, complete bullshit, because you may have less FPS, but if you turn on ray tracing, at least on Cyberpunk 2077, with the max settings on an AMD GPU or on an NVIDIA GPU, the graphics are exactly the same. NVIDIA GPUs will produce indeed more FPS, even without the LSS, but the graphics fidelity, the image quality, will be the same. So several tiers higher than both AMD's best discrete GPUs and the upcoming consoles. This is like visual pollution. This has reached the point where it is visual pollution. My God. But there's more, I guess. In terms of real-world performance, Nvidia's 3000 series has more or less put AMD's Radeon group in checkmate. Once again. Nonetheless, AMD's marketeers are capable of delivering elaborate bullshit, albeit while struggling to keep a straight face.
This is like common sense. The more GPUs you buy, the more money you save. That's right. The more GPUs you buy, the more money you save.
So they are really implying that all the AMD says on their marketing is bullshit. This should lead to a lawsuit. I mean, AMD should actually make a lawsuit to the UserBenchmark. They should actually do it. They should do it because this is just being mean. This is just being on a payroll. I mean, if you look at their benchmarks on their current presentations, not the older ones, on their current presentations for the RX 6000 series, for the Ryzen 5 5800X 3D, they are actually pretty accurate if you look at them, okay? They are. So they are within the margin of error of any tester. So saying this is just so mean. It's just like literally hating on AMD and nothing else matters, okay? So they should be prone to that, to be in a lawsuit. We are on the RTX 3060 and they are actually now talking about Intel. You see how they love to hate on AMD. So they are saying their marketing infrastructure outsold Intel in the CPU market despite a 15% perform deficit. So they are butthurt so much that they have to bring Intel and to say that how much Ryzen outsold Intel. My goodness, maybe because Ryzen CPUs actually perform in a more and a way broader variety of motherboards instead of just one or two chipsets, and maybe because they also have way lower power draw, maybe. That's why they sold more, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, without an appropriate social media marketing strategy, Nvidia will probably lose considerable market share for all the wrong reasons. So Nvidia won't lose market share because AMD's products are actually getting better. No, it's all because of marketing bullshit. And it gets even worse once we go to, for example, to the CPUs, because I think that they are really prone to bend to the Intel side. So the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D is currently the best gaming CPU in the world. You can say whatever you want, it is. It is faster in most scenarios, equal in some, way faster in others, of course, due to the cache, even with lower frequencies, and it consumes way less power than the Intel chips, mostly the i7s and the i9s. So it's a win-win situation, nobody can contradict that. Or can they? Let's look at UserBenchmark. So the 5800X 3D has the same core architecture / IPC as the 5800X, but it runs at lower clock speeds and has an extra 64 megabytes of cache, 96 megabytes up from 32 megabytes. Everything's right here. This results in relatively low latency at 128 megabytes because those transfers have a higher chance of remaining in cache. Okay? For most real-world tasks, performance will be comparable to the significantly cheaper 5800 XT. If a real-world task is actually gaming for you, then the 5800X 3D is considerably faster in most scenarios, but whatever. In here, it's kind of true, okay? It starts well, again. Some specific cache-sensitive scenarios, such as scanned game benchmarks, with the 3090 Ti will benefit. So they are actually trying to they are actually trying to bamboozle, yes, the readers of UserBenchmark, saying that the 5800X is just faster in canned and cherry-picked benchmarks and only with the 3090 Ti, which we know is not true. Okay, for example, in games like Far Cry, in games like Star Citizen, even with lower end cards, let's say 6700 XT, if you're playing at 1080p or 1440p, even at ultra settings, you will see a major performance uplift from using the 5800X 3D in comparison to Intel counterparts. So this is pure bullshit once again. It's bullshit after bullshit, damn visual pollution. Anyway, I'm getting mad. Anyway, be wary of sponsored reviews with cherry-picked games that showcase the wins and ignore the losses. Also, watch out AMD's army of Neanderthal social media accounts on Reddit, forums and YouTube. They will be singing their own praises as usual. So AMD said it was the fastest gaming CPU in the world. All the third-party reviewers test the CPU. It is indeed the fastest CPU for gaming. We're not even talking about pricing, we're just talking about gaming performance. It is the fastest one overall. And now it's like it's not even real for UserBenchmark. It's like they're telling people, they are actually telling people that it is all AMD's marketing bullshit and it isn't even real. Next time they will actually tell us that the 5800X 3D doesn't even exist. It's just something made up by AMD. Anyway, AMD's marketeers continue to show more interest in this year's bonuses than the longevity of the brand. Oh, you're putting too much drugs in those cigarettes. Just put more tobacco, less drugs, because this is making... oh my goodness. Instead of focusing on real-world performance, they attempt to dupe consumers with benchmark busting headlines. The same tactics were used with Radeon 5000 series GPUs. No, they weren't. 5000 series GPUs were not even a competitor to... and we're talking about CPUs, they were even not a competitor to the high-tier AMD, to the high-tier NVIDIA GPUs. And AMD said that from the beginning. They said, okay, we are not competing on the top tier for now, okay? We're competing just on the medium tier, on the mid tier and low tier, and they did. And they actually delivered best performance per dollar compared to NVIDIA counterparts. So I don't even know what they're talking about here. I mean, now let's start the same thing, okay? So Zen 3 and Zen 3 with only 3D cache presents the best gaming CPU, and now they bring this. This is an exact copy-paste of what they did with the RDNA 2, so the RX 6000 series. So, Zen 4 needs to bring substantial IPC improvements rather than overpriced 3D marketing gimmicks. How is this a gimmick if it actually turned the 5800X into the best performant CPU for gaming? It is not a gimmick if it works. I mean, we saw like 30 to 40% increase in performance in some scenarios, in some games, just from the cache. And you're calling it gimmick. You're a gimmick. Either way, new high-end PC gaming builders have little reason to look further than the 12600K. I mean, 12600K, the 12600K is a great CPU, but I have one here, but man, you can look way further than that, both on AMD and on Intel side. Users with an existing AMD 4 build should wait a few more months for better performance with Raptor Lake or even Zen 4, rather than wasting money on an end-of-life platform. I won't even read more because, as you saw, guys, this is not a review. This is just hate spitting to AMD. They are not pro AMD or they are not pro NVIDIA or pro Intel. They are just anti-AMD, and we can see that properly. They are actually bashing the world's best performant CPU in terms of gaming. They are actually trying to tell us that it isn't performing as it is. So they are lying, straight out lying.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Do not use UserBenchmark. This is the most and the biggest bullshit website in terms of reviews that I've seen to this day. And I've seen a lot. I wasn't believing, but it is true. My God. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Don't use UserBenchmark. Leave your comment in the comment section and let me know what you think about this. I don't even know what this is. This is just like I told you before, visual pollution. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thanks a lot, and see you in the next video.